Bilal, Abbas and I had so many phone calls thinking about who to invite to this, who do we want to show up, most importantly, who isn't typically represented, who doesn't go to these types of events usually, and how do we get them there. And I think that all of you being here is a testament to that, so I really want to thank Abbas and Bilal for that effort. My maternal grandmother passed away a little less than 2 weeks ago, and I flew home from DC to be with my mom during that time, and a couple of days in, I told her, hey mom, this thing is coming up in a couple weeks. We don't have to do it. We'll talk to the campaign, we'll postpone it, we'll do it at another event or another venue. And she just started shaking her head before I even finished and said, life has to go on, and we believe in Abdul, and this is gonna happen. And not only is it gonna happen, but she's refused that we said we're gonna cater everything. She said, nope, I'm going to make everything. You guys can bring the drinks, but I'm gonna make everything. So please do have fruits, please do have desserts. My sister-in-law Samia made those. It was a team effort with the family, and I want to thank all of them, my mom, my dad, my siblings, my sisters-in-law, my brother-in-law. They really put in every effort to make this happen. When I first met Abdul, I think we met a bunch of times for the first time, but for the sake of the story, we'll make it convenient. Say the first time I met Abdul.
This is the third first time.
The first time I met Abdul, I reached out to him a month after he became health director, and I was really interested in finishing up my second policy internship. At the time, I was interested in an internship in Geneva. My friend Brad, where you at? Brad ended up doing it that summer after, and we met up. Abdul and I did at Green Dot Stables in Detroit. I told him, Abdul, you're health director, Detroit, Geneva, and he just started shaking his head too. You and my mom have that in common. Come to Detroit. Come to Detroit. We'll kick ass together. And how about this? How about you start tomorrow? And I said, absolutely, start tomorrow. And so he put me to work on things that I was so passionate about and things that were important to the city: refugee policy, water shutoffs, contraceptive policy, things that were things that the city of Detroit were lacking in, and things that he was interested in helping propel forward. And so we worked together over the next 8 months, and we spent 4 months together full time. And I really got to know Abdul every single day in the meetings that he had, in the conversations that he would have, in the way that he would hold people in the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan accountable to higher standards of public service. One particular story sticks out, and Abdul probably doesn't remember this, but it's something that has stuck with me, something I've shared with friends and family many, many times. But it was a Friday afternoon, 5 o'clock. Abdul walks into the office and says, hey, I'm gonna go make a site visit to this woman in Southwest Detroit, I believe it was. She's been complaining about the factory nearby, and they've been letting out a lot more air than I'm accustomed to, and we're starting to feel sicker. And also, my house, I just washed the exterior a couple months ago, and it's already full. And by the time Abdul and I went there, and we put our hands on the house, you felt it. You felt the sediment on your hands. And so we sat there for an hour, and Abdul told her, we're going to do everything in our power to fix this. And so Abdul and I walked out, and we sat in his car silently for a few minutes. Didn't say a word to one another. The context was we're in this car, there was abandoned buildings, broken down homes, graffitied walls, and Abdul just looks over to the left while he's looking out the window, and excuse my language, but the moment was so powerful when he said, fuck poverty. And when he said that, it was one of those moments where I thought to myself, this wasn't just lip service, this wasn't just a talking point by a politician, this wasn't a health director just trying to score anything, it was just he and I. And I saw Abdul approach his work at the health department with that tenacity of F poverty every single day. Whether it was the chairwoman of a huge foundation in Michigan calling him and saying, we really want to give you this $1 million grant that you applied to, but if you can just tweak this public health lens and make it a healthcare lens, we'd give it to you. And in my mind, while I'm in the car with Abdul, hearing this conversation, yeah, of course, change that, it's just a small tweak. He wouldn't. He was resilient to that effort. To say, we will never be in the business of healthcare in the city of Detroit. We will always be a public health. And you know what? He fought them and he won.
Bravo.
Or whether it was the state of Michigan taking away dollars from Wayne County and moving them over to Macomb and Oakland County, which, let's be clear, that's moving them away from black kids to white kids. And Abdul fighting them, even though the deadline was 2-3 months prior, saying, this is BS, you need to fix this. And them saying, you know what, we're gonna look into it again. And they did, and Abdul won. And this is the person that I got to know every single day in Detroit. There are no cameras in the room, no recorders in the room. You all have heard about him. You can Google his name and see just a flurry of articles talking about him. But it's the person that I met privately that embodies this public persona that to this day, it boggles my mind that this is a formidable candidate for governor, and this is someone who is going to win the same way he won at the health department. And I'm so excited and honored to introduce the next governor of the state of Michigan.
So